These are professional darts players who compete in the same tournaments, throw at the same boards, and operate under the same PDC rulebook, and the financial gap between them is wider than most people realise. One player collected £1 million from a single tournament in January 2026, while a former world finalist was declared bankrupt that same month, owing more than £500,000 in unpaid tax. The number that changed everything was announced before the 2026 PDC World Championship, a total prize fund of £5 million with a winner's cheque worth £1 million. That figure sounds like darts had finally arrived as a serious sport, and in many ways it had, but the context behind that number tells a more complicated story. The very first PDC World Championship, held in 1994, carried a total prize fund of £16,000, and that same event now pays £15,000 just for losing in the first round. Across 30 years, the prize pool grew 312 times over, and almost all of that growth concentrated at the very top. Understanding who actually gets rich in darts and who doesn't starts with understanding how the money flows through the sport. Before looking at who built fortunes in this sport, it's worth spending time with the players whose stories rarely get told. Mervyn King reached the PDC World Championship final in 2008, competed at the very highest level, and earned approximately £2 million in career prize money. In March 2025, the High Court of Justice in London declared him bankrupt, with more than £500,000 owed to HMRC. His explanation, given to Sunsport, cuts to the heart of a problem that runs through the sport. Believe it or not, I actually thought with it being winnings, I didn't have to pay tax on it because it wasn't earnings as such. I was then waiting for that big win, that really big win, so I could square everything up. During the COVID pandemic, King worked as an Amazon delivery driver while his wife Tracy feared they would lose their home, and he told the Sun, "Tracy is worried that we're going to lose the house, but if we do, we do. There's nothing I can do about that." In January 2026, King entered Q School, won back his tour card, and broke down in tears on the spot. King's advice to players coming up behind him: don't do what I did. Don't hide your head in the sand when you realise you're in a bit of a slump with HMRC. And the situation he found himself in is far from unique. Nicholson confirmed that Adrian Lewis, a two-time world champion with back-to-back titles in 2011 and 2012, got into some big issues before winning his first world title. He just lost track of his finances. Then there is Rob Cross, the 2018 world champion, who beat Phil Taylor in Taylor's retirement match and earned more than £3 million in career prize money, and who in June 2025 was disqualified from serving as a company director for 5 years, having failed to pay more than £450,000 in taxes. A world champion, tax debt, director disqualification. Nicholson put the broader picture plainly. There aren't many millionaire darts players. They might have won millions during their career, but it doesn't mean they have $1 million sitting in their bank accounts right now. Some have found themselves in much bigger financial difficulties despite earning a lot of prize money because they hadn't thought enough about tax. If you polled every tour card holder and asked them if they pay into a pension scheme, I'd be surprised if as many as 10 of them said yes. Now for the other side, Michael van Gerwen sits at the top of darts' all-time earnings list with approximately £11.5 million in career prize money, accumulated across 3 world titles, 7 Premier League titles, and a total of 164 professional singles wins. Net worth estimates from sources including Celebrity Net Worth and Finance Monthly place him between £6 and £10 million, and the assets back that up. A Rolls-Royce Ghost, a mansion in the Netherlands that cost around £2 million with major renovation work on top, and a luxury apartment in Amsterdam. At his peak, exhibition appearances earn him between £30,000 and £50,000 per night. Phil Taylor retired from competitive darts in January 2018 with 16 world championships, 214 professional tournament wins, and approximately £8.5 million in career prize money, making him the sport's second highest all-time earner. Net worth estimates range from £5.5 to £8 million, though his 2016 divorce proceedings placed his net worth at £3.4 million in court. A reminder that the number on a winner's cheque and the number in a bank account are not always the same thing. Taylor continued exhibition work until May 2025, when he officially retired from exhibitions, and he continues to do theatre shows. Gary Anderson earned approximately £5.5 million across a career that includes 2 world titles, leads a genuinely private life, and by all documented accounts simply enjoys the rewards of 30+ years of professional darts. In a sport full of cautionary financial tales, that counts as wisdom. Gerwen Price, the 2021 world champion, collected around £4.5 million in career prize money after switching to darts full-time in 2014, having previously played professional rugby as a hooker for Neath and Cross Keys in the Welsh Premier Division. Price now owns a fish and chip shop in Markham, South Wales, having received planning permission in 2024, and he also farms in Wales. Luke Humphries, world number 1 through much of 2024 and 2025, accumulated approximately £3.5 million in career prize money, including his 2024 World Championship victory. And in a December 2024 interview, he described how shirt sponsorships alone had transformed. They're paying you like 5-10 grand for each sponsor. You're kind of getting 30 or 40,000 on your shirt before you've even thrown a dart. This was like 7 years ago. That's already a year's salary, without winning anything, whereas now it's ridiculous. It's silly money. Nothing in the history of professional darts has moved at the pace of Luke Littler's financial ascent, and the numbers make that point without any need for embellishment. Before his breakthrough run at the 2024 World Championship, where he reached the final at 16 years old, total career amateur earnings came to £3,386. 2 years later, in January 2026, he became the first player in darts history to receive a £1 million winner's check, claiming back-to-back world titles, and career prize money by early 2026 exceeded £3.3 million, all of it accumulated in roughly 2 years as a professional. The prize money, though, represents only part of what Littler now earns. In January 2026, Target Darts signed him to a 10-year deal reported to be worth up to £20 million, covering Littler-branded products, merchandise, and performance bonuses, a deal that Sky Sports and ITV confirmed via PA Wire, and that Target's chairman, Gary Plummer, traced back to a very different day. I met Luke at the BDO Youth World Championship qualifier when he was 12, and that day his dad asked if we would sponsor him. We'd never taken on someone so young, but I saw something special. Beyond Target, confirmed commercial partnerships include Xbox, Boohoo Man, KP Nuts, Tag Heuer, McDonald's, and Deliveroo, and literally became the first darts player in history to surpass 1 million Instagram followers, now standing at more than 2 million. Google named him the most searched athlete in the UK in 2024. The BBC gave him Young Sports Personality of the Year. Forbes placed him in their 30 under 30 list, and the 2025 birthday honours awarded him an MBE. Barry Hearn offered the detail that puts all of it in perspective. He's bought his mum and dad a 5-bedroom house in the country, but last time I spoke to him, he still gets 50 quid a week pocket money. Sports marketing consultant Daniel Tuner, speaking to The Sun, estimated that if he is at the summit of the darts world for 20 years, he could well be on the way to amassing a £40 million fortune. Luke Littler is 19 years old. What the richest versus poorest framing actually exposes is a sport with a fundamental imbalance that prize money growth alone has not fixed. More than £25 million in prize money flows through the PDC each year. Darts sits as the second most watched sport on Sky Sports behind only football, and the 2026 World Championship final drew 4.8 million viewers, the highest non-football broadcast in Sky Sports history. And yet, roughly half of the sport's licensed professionals cannot earn a living wage from it, because darts has no base salary, no guaranteed income, no travel subsidies, no employer pension contributions, and no minimum wage for tour card holders. Players are self-employed contractors who manage their own tax obligations with historically almost no guidance from the PDC on how to do so, and the consequences of that gap are written in the bankruptcy notices of former finalists and the Amazon delivery shifts of former world ranking event winners. Nicholson framed it as clearly as anyone has. Being a dart player is not as luxurious as people think. Barry Hearn, the man who did more than anyone to transform the sport commercially, described what darts managed to achieve against all the odds. In darts, we've defeated the snobbery in sport. People who used to scoff at me, darts, fat blokes, smoking, drinking, couldn't run around a table. Now we're getting the ultimate revenge. The prize money grew 312 times in 30 years. The winner's check hit £1 million, and the sport's biggest star signed a £20 million sponsorship deal before his 20th birthday. By almost every public measure, professional darts became something its founders could not have imagined. But for the player ranked 100th in the world, collecting £2,600 a year in prize money, covering their own hotel bills, walking away from a first-round loss with nothing in their pocket, while Mervyn King rebuilt his life from bankruptcy at the very same Q school. The sport remains what it has always been at its core, a gamble with no safety net. The board is the same for everyone. The rewards have never been further apart.